Hello, everybody. This is Michelle Piper, also known as the drummer's wife. We are coming to you from Casa de Piper in Wiley, Texas, and I wanted to completely take over his podcast just once so that I could show you kind of the man behind the. I know him better than anybody. This Friday will actually be our 33rd wedding anniversary. But, you know, he's working. So, I wanted to come on here. I wanted to hack it and hijack it, which is why we called it Hacked and Hijacked. I want to make sure that I ask questions that people are asking me about him when we are out and about. I know I don't go out near as much as I used to. I'm working 6 days a week. Honestly, that's why I look so tired right now. I've had a 9.5-hour day with no breaks of complete 100% adrenaline junkie. Yuck. And get home, cook dinner, and Paul says, hey, let's do the Hacked and Hijacked. Sure, honey. So, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I've got a secret list of questions that he has never seen. These are things that, like I said, some people have asked me questions about him. These are some things that I want people to know about him. I'm sure things are going to come up just through the course of talking. And it's going to be interesting to see if anybody, when they watch this, if they ask questions in the comment section, we'll try to go back and answer those. And I would like to introduce you to my husband, the Paul Piper.
Is this thing on? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, hi there. How are you
You
doing?
look about as tired as I do right now, dude.
Am I tired?
I think we're both tired.
Well,
We get very little sleep. It's just crazy.
We're going to see what dirt is pulled up on me. I'm not sure what we'll find, but...
I got to say that I keep looking to my right because he's sitting across the drum set from me. I am sitting behind his... Oh, you took my drumsticks, dude.
Oh, here. Well...
I'm in his studio. I am sitting behind his...
Hold on. Let me get the drumsticks for you. I'm going to go to your screen real quick.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
So he's going to come wandering around behind me. Hope he doesn't unplug everything that it took this long. Oh, that's all you do. I would have grabbed new ones. Anyway, so... So, I'm behind his drum set. He's behind an electronic drum set, but on the back side of it.
Now, if you look at the screen, you'll notice that I sit lower than my wife, see?
I could lower my chair if you want me to.
Hold on. No, that's okay. So this is perfect because it's Hacked and Hijacked.
He had me all the way up really high, and I pulled it down. But anyway, yeah, if we look really tired, it's because we really are. We've had a really long day.
Teaching and running a school, right?
Yeah, among other things. I am very proud of Paul. I'm very proud of the fact that lots and lots of people call him the Paul Piper. That is because that was born from me. I came up with it a few years ago because, well, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this story, but I'll say it for the people who haven't. We have some new friends. When we lived in Mesquite, Texas, way back when, they used to have telephone books, y'all. Telephone books that you opened up in the white pages. If you saw your name, you were somebody because you were in the phone book. So phone was in his name. So we got the new phone book, ran over, opened it up, went straight down, and there's 2 Paul Pipers in Mesquite. I'm not joking. So, sorry, I'm putting my foot up because it's hurting. We had Paul R. Piper, and then there was a Paul X. Piper. And I think he lived in northern Mesquite, didn't he? North Mesquite?
I think so.
And we were getting phone calls about this other Paul Piper. And this other one was, I think he was like in real estate or something. And I always made the bad joke, oh, crap, I married the wrong Paul Piper. But anyway, so we started kind of joking around that, well, yeah, but he might be Paul Piper, but he's not the Paul Piper. We kind of joked around then, that was, I think, before kids even. And anyway, over the years, kids were born, and Paul was getting some notoriety around town. He used to play on Friday nights in Deep Ellum on a TV show that a lot of you may that are our age or older may remember, and it was called Deep Ellum Live, right?
Yes, it was.
And he played with Dan Bradford, and I do not remember who else was in that.
Let me think. It was let's see.
It was so long ago. It's like we're talking like seriously like 90s, right? Mid 90s.
Yeah, something like that.
Mid to late 90s, and it was Deep Ellum Live. I think there was like a dating game show you played on too.
It was called Fantasy Dates.
Fantasy. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. Anyway, so anyway, when our kids were little, and I'm talking little, our I'm gonna date myself here big time, which is fine. I don't care. Our daughter just turned 30 and our son just turned 27. So when they were little, we were at Brook Mays Pro Shop. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Paul was, I don't even remember what he was buying. I don't remember. And we were there as a family, and kids are.
Actually, wasn't it at the Garland store?
That was later. That was with John with cello strings in middle school. So when we were at the Brook Mays, we were in there and we were talking to Spunky Bruno. Remember that?
I remember Spunky.
And Spunky used to work at the Brook Mays Pro Shop, which was off 35, right?
Yeah.
And so we were in there, and all of a sudden, some guy just screams across Brook Mays, "Dude, you're that dude!" And you know, our kids just went like this because they had never, you know, he's dad. They don't know that. And this guy ran over and just started shaking his hand, and then everyone started looking, and it was kind of funny. "You're the Paul," you know, he kind of said something similar to that. Yeah, you're that dude. You're the dude. And so we kind of tucked that around. And what Paul was referring to earlier was our son when he got into middle school, or actually he was in sixth grade going into middle school, and he played the cello. And there was a string he broke on his cello. So Paul called, was the music and arts,
the music store
in Garland, off of.
It's off of. It was off of
Northwest Highway. Or Northwest. It was called Northwest Drive right there. Anyway, whatever in
that
Garland.
crossroad was.
And so he called up there and he said, "Hey, I need some cello strings, whatever." And the guy says, "Yeah, we have them." And he said, "Okay, I'm coming up there." He says, "What's the name?" And he said, "Paul Piper." Hung up the phone. They drive up there. Son's with him, and they come walking in, and the guy's helping somebody else, and says, "I'll be right with you." And he says, "Sure, no problem, you know, whatever." And so when they're finished, the customer walks out, and it's Paul and our son, John. And I guess John's, 12 at the time? Maybe 13.
Like that.
And still had no idea really about his dad and what he was. Or what he is. And anyway, so Paul walks up and he says, "Yeah, I called about some cello strings, and, you know, I'm just here to pick them up." Guy says name, and he goes, "Piper." And he says, first name, Paul. And the guy's looking around, all of a sudden he looks up and he goes, "Paul, the Paul Piper?" And Paul goes, "Well, I don't know. My name is Paul Piper." And our son was kind of looking at Paul like this, you know, because it was like, why would he say the Paul Piper? Anyway, that's a really funny story. In our family, we couldn't stop laughing at it because it was just goofy. And then our daughter ran with it. Our daughter, who is super witty and super sharp, she went online. She went online and she ordered some drums for Christmas because Paul is like the hardest person, literally. I know I said the hardest person to shop for Christmas, Father's Day, birthday, because every time the kids ever ask him anything, "What do you want?" "Oh, I just want a hug." Oh, kids get mad, right? So, and for me, it's even harder. So, so she bought him some drumsticks, and she didn't even know anything about size or anything, and they're really cute. And she put on there, she had him engraved, and it said or embossed, the capital THE Paul Piper. And are they in here?
Which ones are you talking about?
The Paul Piper drumsticks.
Where did I put them?
I don't know. When we moved, we lost a lot of stuff, so
yeah,
they're probably lost. And but anyway, they're here somewhere. We just so he used to hang them in his studio when we lived in Mesquite. So anyway, time goes by, you know, whatever, and I thought Paul needed a little bit more notoriety. I thought people needed to recognize who he was a little bit more. So I started calling him the Paul Piper in Facebook posts, mainly Facebook posting. And man, you guys picked it up and ran with it. The biggest one who calls you consistently is Jackie Donlow.
Yeah.
And Jackie Donlow is amazing anyway. I love Jackie. We both love Jackie. He's a great guy. Paul plays with him all the time.
Yeah.
And Jackie Donlow, great guitar player, great blues guy, KNON show host on Tuesdays, 2 to 4.
2 to 4, yeah.
And Paul's on his show sometimes, as, of course, the jokester. Jackie has a theme song for Paul, and it's what's the song? I'm the Pied Piper.
He's the Pied Piper.
Right, but the song is from the 60s,
yeah.
and it's, he's the Pied Piper. I'm not a singer. He's the Pied Piper. And he says, the Paul Piper. He changes the words. And Jackie's a master at changing words and stuff. So anyway, that's where the Paul Piper came from. And then as far as me being called the drummer's wife, there was kind of a jerk that we were trying to help out. And I'm just not going to go into it too much, but he thought he was insulting me on social media by, she's just the drummer's wife. And I went, yes, I am.
That.
Yes, I am. I am the drummer's wife. So that's where that came from. So having said all that, here we are. I wanted to hijack this, not to talk about me, talk about him. But I wanted just to give a little...
about her, too.
I give a little bit of background on stuff like this. We did a live Facebook during COVID. Right after the COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
And alcohol was definitely involved. Okay, so this was in our other house when we lived in Mesquite, and it was a much bigger house.
Yeah.
This house is so small, y'all. I love the house. Don't get me wrong. Love the house. It's a rental. But the one thing that really, really we love more than is Paul's studio here. This is actually it's a bigger bedroom this is a bedroom of the house, but it's a bigger studio than he had before, a little bit bigger, so he's able to fit a little bit more in here. Anyway, so we were in the front room of that house, and Paul had brought a bottle of wine for me, a bottle of wine for him, and then I also had, because I'm smart, I had a glass of water and I had a glass of tea, and so I had, I think, a single wine glass, and I drank. It was really good. It was like one of the best wines I've ever had, and I think I drank maybe a glass, maybe.
Yeah.
And he blew through his bottle of wine, and then he poured me one more glass. I was not about to do that because I knew better. This was live, Facebook Live. I wasn't going to be doing something like that. He drank my glass of wine, my second, and then he proceeded to drink the rest of my bottle of wine. I mentioned in the beginning that this Friday is our 33rd wedding anniversary, but we've actually been together 37 years. That is the most drunk I've ever seen him, but luckily we were at home. It didn't matter. It's just I could not get him to shut up. And I think, what was it, 3 to 3.5 hour live video.
It was long.
And we had people who came on in the beginning, and they was laughing right along with us. Go to dinner, like literally go out to dinner, come back, we're still on. And they were like, y'all are still on? And we still get asked about that live. I think it came up not too long ago on some memory or something. I don't remember what it was. And I had one of my bosses that I used to work for, he's my chiropractor. And that was before I worked for him, and he always laughed about that, always asked me about that. Dr. Paul, he's great. So anyway, I had to get that one out because lots of people are asking me about that when I go out still. Hey, y'all ever going to do that again? Probably not, because I don't want him that blottoed on on live again. So
anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm on the guest side.
Yes. So having done all that.
Just let everybody know, I have no idea what she's going to ask. I was like, I hope we don't get in a fight.
Actually, at dinner tonight,
throw lava lamps at each other and throw
at dinner
drumsticks
tonight,
at each other.
I just cooked something quick when I got home, and we were sitting there eating, and I said, here's my list of questions, and I held my phone up, and he looked at me, and he goes, what did you ask me? It was so funny.
I said, it's not going to make us fight, is it?
And I started laughing. I said, no, I don't have anything like that. So Paul Piper is 56. He's 56. Okay, so he's 56.
I am 56, and I feel 36.
He feels 86 most days, but
I look like I'm 86.
no. But anyway, so he's 56, and he has been playing professional 40 years.
40
since he was 16.
46 years. No, 40.
Yes, 40.
44 years. No, I got my first gig when I was, 15?
You need a calculator, dude.
Oh, okay. 2 plus 2 is not 4. It's 22.
Anyway, he started working when he was 15.
Something like that. I had my first jazz gig.
I would say he
with
was
my-
16.
Maybe.
At
It
the
was
Petroleum Club with your
Chaparral Club with my mom and dad.
Chaparral Club. I forgot
I
about
thought it was 15. I don't remember.
Okay,
though.
he might know. Okay, so he and I met in November of 1986, y'all.
Yeah.
So we met and then talked on the phone for 3 or 4 weeks. Corded phone, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
They still make those?
Yeah, you can get them at thrift stores. But anyway, and literally from, I think that we talked every single night because he was working at the Petroleum Club at the time. And we had a 3-week gig, I think, at that time, or a 4-week gig. And then when he got, finally done, it was Christmas, and we met for a Christmas party, and the rest is history. So I do have to give a big, giant shout out to Adam Wise. Adam Wise is the man who introduced Paul and I. Adam was in a band with Paul and worked with me. He and I worked at the same place, I should say. And he said, hey, I got somebody you want to meet. So the rest is history. So we've been together that long. And it's really funny because I remember when I first started kind of going out with Paul in the music industry, we went to Louie Louie's one night, and Paul was introducing me to different musicians down there. And it was Paul, a harp player.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Paul.
Yes. Anyway,
Harrington.
Paul Harrington. Yes, the great Paul Harrington.
Hey, Paul Harrington.
Paul Harrington. And it was Paul Harrington, and it was Rodney. Rodney, I love him. Rodney's so crazy. Rodney. What's his last name? I'm blanking because I'm on here. I'm blanking on everything, and it's
Johnson.
Rodney Johnson. And I think there was somebody else staying there too. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, so Paul comes up and introduced me, and they're looking at me, and I said, yeah. I said, well, yeah, I know that, we've been married forever. Oh, no, God. I am so, so very sorry for what's about to happen. I have to blame our son for this.
Hey, how you doing?
He bought this thing for him for Christmas, and our daughter and I knew we were going to... I'm sorry for what's about to happen. Oh, he's over there giggling, y'all. He's about to do something really crazy.
Hey, is this thing on? Hello? Hello? What's that arm doing?
He is so proud of himself right now, y'all. He is absolutely dying over there. His face is shining. His eyes are tearing. He is... Yeah, that's the real Paul Piper right there. So...
Hey, what happened over here? I got raided.
Anyway, so if I start asking him questions now, that's to stop him from doing stuff like that. I'm going to try to keep this... it's going to be a little bit personal, but there's going to be some career questions involved because you can't separate the man. He's music and the man. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, they have a job and that's what they do for a living, but that's not who they are. Well, with him, it's who he is. He is a musician. He is Paul Piper. He is teller of really bad jokes. He is a stupid humor guy. Although I do have to admit, he does make me laugh. Not like that crap, but, I mean, there are times, that he will make me laugh really, really hard.
Dad joke corner. Dad joke corner. Wait, I had dad joke corner up. Okay, so the joke is there really a joke? The joke would be if you were to have two windmills in the field. One's asked the other question, hey, what's your favorite music? The other one says, duh, I'm a metal fan. Back to you.
This is not one of the times he's making me laugh. So I am going to start with a question that kind of rolls into this. And actually no, I take it back. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start a little bit different direction. And I want to ask you, because I think I know the answer to this, but I don't know if you do. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is the biggest misconception that people have about you?
About me?
About you.
I don't know if I understand the question. Maybe because misconception?
Strike one. Not miscongeniality.
Are you talking about career or personality?
In any way, shape, or form, what's the one thing that people always get wrong about you? I know what that is. You have to know what this is. Anybody, I can hear C.T. Davis shouting at the screen now. I can hear it.
Wrong about me, that I'm a mean guy?
No, I don't know a single person who thinks you're a mean guy. I don't know a single person who's ever said that.
That I'm humble.
No, you are humble. You suck at this.
Yeah.
So, I will say it because he's wrong about this. So I think the one thing that the biggest misconception, what is it in every single post that I ever post about you, is that he is not just a drummer. So whenever he writes music, he posts something about it and says, I wrote this, and as you can see, he's got a bass right here. He's got all this stuff back here. He's got the drums here. Where's your guitar?
Yeah, the guitar's put up. It's in here.
Oh, that's right, because we have one of the best guitar players ever who pretty much plays for Paul whenever, Paul knows he can count on him, and he's a great guy, David
Saborio. And we're talking about doing a little CD project soon. We're going to have something ready.
That's going to be great. Yeah. David is amazing. But David is, he's become like a son to us.
Yeah.
He's not much older than our daughter, but he works with us at the school. And he's an incredible guitar teacher, incredible piano teacher. But he is an unbelievable guitar player. And props to him, because the theme music you heard on the way in, that was David playing on guitar. Big shout out to David. We love him. He's just like a son to us.
Oh, yeah.
So, great guy.
But I think I finally understood your question. Yes, I do play more than drums. I do keyboards, and I write, and I produce, and
keep going, dude. Keep going.
People think I can sing, but I don't know. But yeah,
he can sing.
I've done a few background vocals. So just a shout out to James and Mindy McIntyre. If y'all are watching, we did form a little trio, and it is a phenomenal trio. And I'm actually a third part harmony.
Oh my God, it's great.
And
Mindy and James, thank you for getting him to do that, because oh my gosh, I have been trying to get him to sing for 37 years. But anyway, during COVID, Paul, I got into gardening. Everybody knows I was into gardening. I had 30-something tomato plants, and we had all these different things we were doing. I was between jobs, and, I can't just sit there. I can't watch TV. Ugh. So I got out there, and I was gardening. We had a huge backyard. Anyway, while I'm outside gardening, he's in the studio. And he wrote several songs, several incredible songs. A few of them, I think that Moving Time was one of them. But there was another song that he wrote. What was the name of that one?
Need You
to Stay.
Need You to Stay.
So he wrote a song, and I was outside in the garden, and I came in to wash my hands, wash up some fruits and vegetables or whatever I was growing or whatever, and do whatever. And we were sitting there I was sitting there resting by the back door, and he comes over and he says, "Hey, I have a song I just wrote. I want you to hear it." Sure. So I put my head down, because whenever Paul asked me to listen to anything, I kind of put my head down and I listen, but I'm listening on several different levels. I listen to, first of all, to hear what he's done. Second of all, to give my advice on critiquing and telling him what I hear, telling him what I think I should hear behind it. You know, when you hear a song, like kind of like David heard the guitar music playing in Paul's song. Well, I can kind of do the same thing, but it's obviously different. And anyway, I had my head down and I'm listening, and we're sitting side by side, but there's like there was a lamp in between the chairs we were sitting in. And so my head's down and I'm listening, and he plays the song, and I'm listening. I'm hearing everything, hearing which key it's in. I'm hearing all the chord progressions. Like, you know, he used to drive you nuts when we first met. That's what he would say. And then I'm hearing all the notes, and I'm hearing all this, and I'm thinking, okay, I can hear this, and I can hear this, and then I hear a voice. And I think, okay, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. It's kind of got an electronic vibe to it, and I really like it and everything. And then it said a line, and then the line repeated. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, and then all of a sudden I snapped up because I freaked out. And I looked at him, and I said, "Is that you?" And he kind of was like this, and he went, because he was really scared for me to hear it. He was afraid I was going to think it was bad. It was not bad. It was good. And because believe me, I tell him if I think something is not good. I hate this. There's this 80s patch that he uses on keyboards that I absolutely hate with a passion, but he uses it on everything. And anyway, so he played it again, and I'm looking at him, and I said, "Seriously, that's you?" Because I know how far out of his comfort zone he had to go to put that on tape and then play it for me. I knew what that meant. I knew.
Should they hear the audio?
Yeah, if you got it, that'd be great.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the audio on, and we are going to listen to it right now.
Okay.
Anyway, there you go. That's it.
So, am I right or am I right? So, the further part of that story.
Also, the moving time. I have an audio.
Yes, we need to put
We'll
moving time.
do the audio
yes,
for
yes.
that one later.
So, so the Need You to Stay thing, there is a reason he wrote that. So, this was, I guess, 2021 when you wrote that, roughly, during COVID. Probably 5 years before that, 2015, 2016, we broke up. Our marriage was over. We were done. And we were going to ride out the year and make sure all the bills were paid off so that we weren't fighting over, you pay this, you pay. We had so many friends that hated each other after they got divorced. Hated each other. And I did not want to do that. Because I have children with this man, I have history with this man. I didn't want to hate. I didn't want him to hate me. And I was gone. We were living in the same house, but, you know. Anyway, so I had a place I was moving into, and, you know, I had all this stuff. And then everything fell through. And, it's just it just did. And we eventually we found our way back to each other. And that was actually the longest we had been apart like that. I mean, it was not pretty. But we eventually found our way back, and we're still here today. But that's what this song was born out of. This song was born out of that time frame. So I realized what the words that he said, I said, "Did you write those lyrics for me?" And he kind of sat there and went, And I just start crying. I hit him. I just grabbed him. I start crying. And a lot of people don't believe me when I say this. We actually talked to a songwriter about turning that into a song. And I tried to tell him about this, and he didn't believe me. But I always told him, I said, had he said those words to me way back when, we wouldn't have gone through what we went through. And this guy kind of, yeah, right. Because he had been through a really nasty divorce, and he didn't believe that it was possible that a woman would forgive somebody that quickly, and for saying those words. And I said, yes, honestly, because Paul is not a verbal person. He's not good with words necessarily. So if he would have said something like that, that's what it would have meant. So that actually kind of kills 2 or 3 of my questions all at once. But
all right, well, good.
So yeah, that's where we're coming from. So we're still together. So I also know that this studio is it's something Paul's always wanted to do. He's always wanted to record his own music, of course. He's written music since I met him. That's what we used to do when we first met. He lived on Swiss Avenue, and his parents had a 3-story house. In the attic was his practice, or his rehearsal room with the band that he was in at the time. There were keyboards up there. So we'd go up there and he'd just play music. He'd write music, and I'd sit there and listen to him, all the time. And it was fascinating to me, and it's fascinating still to me to see him sit here and play something, and then it just becomes a song. So I have to ask, I know that this studio is a big dream of yours, but what is your biggest career dream?
The biggest career dream?
And I know what it is.
Well, one of the biggest things I'd love to do, I love playing drums, I love doing gigs, but it has to do with movies.
Yes.
Film score. I love doing film score. Matter of fact, I think, well, let me see. I remember the demo I did for.
I do.
It was for Universal Studios.
It was very good.
Where we took I think it was the footage of Tom Cruise and The Mummy.
Yes, yeah, The Mummy. Yeah, Paul did some, and he
Yeah.
has a friend of his that works out at the Pixar lab, isn't it?
He works for Pixar.
And
he's probably doing a lot of things.
I think he's doing different things for different
Daniel,
companies.
if you're watching,
yeah.
Daniel Rojas.
And
we did some church.
he did
gigs
some
together.
really, really great critiquing of it, and it was professional critiquing.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that he took the time to do that, because he'd help Paul. Hey, this and that and the other and whatever. So it's kind of it's always been his biggest dream. So film score is his big deal. Honestly, our other big dream, because it's my dream too, for him is for him to have his own studio space somewhere. I personally prefer that we would have a house that has a basement, because it's natural sound suppression down there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And now here you have to worry about the water and all that stuff. We dealt with that at your mom's house, but we would work it out. And I think that would probably be the best thing, because we've known too many people that have had studios. They come in the next morning and someone has come in the middle of the night and just completely just taken everything there is in it. And I don't want that for Paul. So I think the house idea would be the best one. We just have to kind of work it out and figure something
out. And like I said, there's a story behind what you probably see behind Michelle. If you notice the wall, it's wall-to-wall soundproofing. And the story is the entertainment company I work for, Absolute Entertainment, really good company.
Yeah.
Where we do a lot of corporate events and stuff like that. Anyway, they were moving to another warehouse, and they said, go into the studio, take anything you want. We have a bunch of soundproof. So I did. I took a good friend of ours, Joe Castillo, helped me. If you're listening and watching, Joe.
Love you, Joe.
And he came and helped me, and we pulled all the soundproofing off the wall. And as a bonus, the guy goes, by the way, that drum set over there, we're just going to throw it away if you want to just take it. And I said, well, let me go inspect this drum set a little bit. So I looked at it, and I turned to Joe and I said, no one throws away maple. So I took the drum set and I did a restore on it, finally had it restored, and I'm using it on gigs now as we speak. So,
yep.
And what's cool is the drum set that I keep with the crew through Absolute Entertainment is identical to the one that I just restored.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I
identical.
did not know that.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's almost like it's like drum set 1, drum set 2. But
here's the funny thing is that Paul was going to go and he was going to take a couple of sheets
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I don't care what you have to do. I said, strip the walls bare. This was about 2 or 3 years before we moved to Wiley.
Yeah.
And about a year and a half. And he goes, we don't have the room. I said, we will find the room, strip the walls bare, because they're just going to throw it away anyway. So you're not stealing anything from anybody. You're not doing anything you shouldn't. They told you to take it. So you should see the rolls of these things. Half our garage was this. And he kept looking at me and why? And I said, because you're going to need it. And he said, how do you know? I said, I know. And he knows whenever I look at him and say, I know.
Yeah.
Same with the rugs that are under us right now. I saw an ad on Marketplace, and it was, what was the name of that?
It was a restaurant.
It was a restaurant in downtown Uptown, near Eddie V's?
Close.
Kind of near it. And this guy, it was a picture and it had red rugs, and I knew he used the red rugs for gig rugs, and I thought,
McKinney and Maple.
I said, we can cut, the things. We get there, and the guy takes us to this little room inside the parking garage. And he opens the door, and there's these massive rolls, these huge red ones. And Paul goes, oh, those are too big. I go, stop. I said, take them. Put them in the back of the car. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care if we got to strap them to the top. And he goes, why? I said, because I just know we're going to need them. And he said, where are we ever going to put those? I said, I don't know yet, but we're going to need them. And when we moved into this house, we originally had them in the gym, one of them in the gym, and they literally fit perfectly in the gym. And then I thought it would work better in here. So he came and he brought them in here, he cut them, and they fit perfectly. It's like we couldn't have bought them better.
Oh, I know.
So, So when I say I know. There's just something I'm being kind of told. So, it's the only way I can really put it. I don't know.
Well, but
so
like I said,
I actually put it down to my guardian angel. So
and I know you have your instincts, and I should trust him more.
Yes, but he always questions me. No. Always.
But what you said earlier, yes, biggest dream is to do film score, and I'm kind of getting to where I'm kind of set up here. A lot of people, I think Joe came in here and said it looks like NASA in here, I guess.
Well, it's you can't see very much from where I'm sitting and where he's sitting because he's backed up to the closet wall. He just has a background. This is like what he's. But there is more here. I wish this room were at least double or triple for you.
It would work because now I'm starting to have where clients are coming over now. We just we had, by the way, keep your ears open. Had a guitar player come over here this past week. Well, this week
yesterday.
But yeah, it was James Saint, and pretty underrated. Oh, underrated?
Yes. Incredible.
When he came in here, I met him at the Forum Jam, which, by the way, get out to the Forum Jam every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday night, 9 to 1.
9 to 1. Anyway, I met James Saint. James Saint is his name out there, and I saw him play a little bit, and I was like, whoa, this guy's good. And he approached me about doing some songs, so we're working on a 5-song or 6-song EP, and we're doing everything here at PRP Productions. And he came over and he was tracking. We did 4 so far, and when he started playing and I started recording, I was like, yes, I was Mr. Engineer with him, but I am going to be doing all the drum tracks for this EP, or is it LP? I think he's only going to do 6 songs for it.
Okay.
Holy moly, this guy's. The way he writes these songs, think of, I don't know, Stone Temple Pilots kind of groove.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kind of.
I haven't heard it yet, so
it's.
I heard a little bit when they're recording, because on the other side of that wall is our bedroom, and I was in there getting ready for work, and I heard a little bit. So. And
when he sings, he was doing some scratch vocal stuff, but I can't wait to have him do the vocal tracks after I get all the drum tracks recorded. Yeah. But when he sings, if you close your eyes, you think it's the singer for Coldplay.
Oh.
But really? That's just what I was hearing when I heard him sing. Okay. I'm like, whoa.
Well, I'm getting really interested. Paul loves Coldplay, by the way.
Yeah, keep an ear out. Hopefully we'll get some of this stuff finished real soon. And James, if you're watching, there you go. But back to the question of film score, because we were talking about. I know I'm changing.
That's 2 questions ago.
Well,
but
2
that's
questions
okay.
ago, because we were going to do a clip of the
Tom Cruise mummy thing.
The mummy trailer, which I had Daniel Rojas take a look at out in California.
Right.
And he sent it back, said it was awesome. See what I would do on a more of a full length movie type situation. Anyway, that's.
I really appreciated the criticism he gave,
Yeah.
because I thought it was very well rounded. I thought it was very. He would know.
Yeah.
He's the guy. You know.
So here's the backstory. So before I play this clip, the backstory on this clip is that I took some footage of a trailer from The Mummy with Tom Cruise, and I can't remember which mummy it was, but
it was the Mummy.
the only
That's
thing,
what it was called.
the only thing that was on the screen and audio, the only thing the audio was just the voices
Of the actors speaking.
Speaking.
Every single thing, everything else you heard was Paul. All the sound effects,
Yeah.
all the music, everything.
So I added all the sound effects. I added all the music. You're gonna laugh when you hear what's going on when the plane goes down to crash and they're being thrown around like popcorn inside the fuselage.
Yeah.
Listen closely when you see this clip, but it's a kick drum.
Oh, okay, cool.
See, you've got to be creative, right?
Absolutely.
But anyway, now that you know the backstory, again, everything you hear is what I did for it. The only thing that's not mine is the dialogue. So here you go. So what'd you think? Anyway,
I love it. I've always thought it's incredible. I always thought that piece that was when you showed me, I was blown away.
Yeah.
That came during COVID.
That was during COVID. That was, so
he was very creative. How he would go in
Yeah.
the studio and do so much during COVID. So my next question is, who would you like to spend a solid week with, observing and learning from?
As far as in the music industry,
I don't care what it's from. If it's in the studio, if it's in woodworking or stamp collecting or dog shearing, I don't care. Who would you want to spend a week with, observing and learning from, and why?
Well, it's along the same lines of what we were just talking about.
Of
But
course,
I
'cause
want
he's
to
music.
be locked into a full, probably 20,000 square foot production company
So go visit Daniel.
with multiple offices, and I want to just learn from all these experts what they're doing for film score, what they're doing for creating the magic that comes behind the silver screen
Yeah.
when you go to see a movie. Also I want to learn more about studio production. Now, I did take some classes on the stuff that I have here, but
Yeah.
a friend of mine, Trey Booth, if you're watching, said, if you think you know the whole software, you only know about 10% of it.
Yeah.
So I guess to answer that question, I would love to be locked in all night to a production company, just learning about everything.
Okay. So Another question that leaped up was, if you could go back and change anything, what would it be? And I think maybe possibly would be to add education, add classes, add something like that earlier on in your life, so you could have done it earlier on.
You mean like for teaching or learning?
I'm talking about learning about what you're just talking about.
If being that I grew up in a musical studio family.
Yes, but your father. But
Yeah.
when you became of age, Paul comes from a music dynasty, and not a lot of people don't realize that. It's not just Paul playing drums. His parents were music royalty. His family is music royalty. Robert W. Piper, Bob Piper, worked at TM Productions from the time Paul was born. He got the job. They lived in L.A. They had Paul, and then when Paul was 3 weeks old, they moved to Dallas, and he started working for TM Productions. That was in 1967. And Paul was 3 weeks old. They moved to Dallas, and Paul's dad started working for TM Productions, and he was doing jingles, and he did. Well, you know your dad better than I ever did.
The jingles that my dad was very popular for was the Dr. Pepper commercial, and
Coca-Cola.
the Coca-Cola, but also the Dr. Pepper.
Really?
I thought he did Dr. Pepper.
I never heard that.
Maybe it
but
was Coca-Cola.
I knew about the Coca-Cola,
I like
and
to
I
hear
had
the world
heard.
sing in
the 1970s when they.
I don't think he's the dominant writer on that. I think he had something to do with it, though.
He had an award on the wall.
Yeah.
About it. So, and he used to go to London
every year to give a clinic to the symphony,
the London Symphony Orchestra, and tell him about the note paper.
Yeah, so if y'all remember,
staff paper,
back before computers and back before iPads and cell phones, y'all remember the multi-manila paper, multi-instruments, like strings, brass, percussion.
Staff paper. Yeah.
And
it was fold out, wasn't it?
It was just a big, and anyway, they'd get on a plane headed for London Heathrow Airport. 6.5 hour flight.
I remember.
Yeah, he got on the plane at DFW Airport with his briefcase, and he pulled this thing out, and it was blank.
A stack of staff paper. A stack.
Yeah. By the time they landed in Heathrow, everything was penciled and filled out, just everything. The violins, the strings.
For every single member of the orchestra.
Yeah, and he did it all from...
It was like dictation.
He did it all from here, his brain.
Yeah. Bob was incredible. Your mother, Carol Piper.
Yeah.
She was an absolutely phenomenal singer. She was a very dynamic person. She was very well respected. She sang in the jingle industry with Bob. But she also was a member. She sang so much it was unreal. But the Moon Maids plus one, they recorded several albums. Bob produced them. Paul played drums a little bit, but it was a big family affair. Paul's older brother played piano on him. Bob played piano, I think, on some of it. One of the other singers had a son. Has a son is.
It was a family.
It was a big family affair. Their sons did.
So Mary
drum
Jo,
and Mary Jo.
Mary Jo and Harold Grogan.
He was the singer. She was one of. They were both singers in the band.
Danny Grogan and Tim Grogan.
Danny and Tim, yeah.
Tim, are you watching? Hey,
Yeah.
Tim Grogan is a phenomenal.
Tim is phenomenal.
Let me tell you about Tim. I've seen some of his posts, and he's not only a great drummer, but he's a great electronic music
He really,
creator.
truly is.
If you ever get a chance, go find him on Facebook or YouTube.
Go look him
he
up.
does this really cool electronic music thing,
Yeah, yeah.
and it looks like the inside of a robot when you go into the studio. It's really cool.
So
Anyway,
they were, and then but they raised Paul to be and trained him up to be a studio musician. And as soon as he came of age is when all the electronics hit the industry, and they just basically did away with all live music in the recording industry. So, but Paul still has all that training. He had an incredible drum teacher.
Yep. Henry Oxtell from North Texas University.
Yes, same drum teacher as
What's that?
the other students of Henry's.
Oh, yeah. Henry has taught a lot of players that came out of the college. Greg Bissonette, who all y'all probably know.
Yeah.
Aaron Comas from the Spin Doctors.
Yep. He's actually one of my favorite drummers.
And I don't know if I knew anybody else that took from him over there. They might have taken it from Ed Sove, but
same drum teacher.
Same drum teacher, yeah. Matter of fact,
So Henry is
we did a
amazing.
show out at the Fort Worth Zoo a few years ago. We just did one recently for those of you that saw the white outfit. Anyway, I won't go there.
That was hilarious show.
But the zoo gig we did a few years ago, this is so cool. The spin doctors warmed up for us. Well, I say that, but it was actually just
They
the way
played
the
and then they
schedule was
followed 'em.
formatted.
So, yeah.
But
Jimmy's an incredible drum
I've
teacher.
spent-
And you are actually a good drum teacher.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. However, it gets hard sometimes.
It is hard sometimes. Teaching anybody is hard sometimes. I'm his backup drum teacher, so I know what he says. But here's the cool thing is that when I go in there, they don't really expect me to know how to play drums. Especially the little kids. They look at me and they go, you know. And then I turn around and show them I know how to play drums. And then usually they're like, I'm not the best drummer, but I know how to play. So whenever I am his sub teacher, it's I kind of always tell them I'm kind of like the fun aunt that gets to take them somewhere when mom and dad are busy, and I get to, or the sub teacher that gets to be have fun. And and especially if we have like a new student,
Sorry, I was just checking the battery level. So.
that for any student who comes in
Mhm.
that's brand new that Paul can't do the meet and greet on, and I do, which kind of gets us in trouble because I like the ones that are almost unteachable, the ones that have ADHD or ADD or something like that. Those are actually my favorite ones because I can see straight through all that to the person who they are inside, and I can recognize things that maybe he can't because he doesn't see the way I see it. I think being a mom helps. And so it's gotten us in trouble a little bit, and I've had to kind of co-teach on some of them, but it's worked out great, and I really think that eventually he comes around and sees what I see in that student. It just takes him a lot longer because it takes me convincing him, because he's seeing things that aren't necessarily the good side of it. Especially the ADHD, I can see that they can't help it. I can see that. And Paul's just saying, oh my God, it's like too much energy. But yeah, that's actually, teaching is actually one of my favorite things to do. It's a great way to completely get out of my brain at work, if you know what I mean. I can go into a room and shut the door and just have a kid beat the snot out of the drums and have fun, so... we have a great time there, though. I will say this. Paul has traveled extensively in his career, literally around the world. He did a USO tour in 2008.
Yes. Yeah.
And he went to 6 different Arab countries. I always miss one. So what countries are they?
Okay, if my memory works with me here, we went to Kyrgyzstan first.
Kyrgyzstan, yeah.
Afghanistan, Qatar or Qatar,
Yeah.
Bahrain, Djibouti, Africa,
And UAE.
in the Emirates.
United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
So that was, I always miss one. I'm surprised that we got this on here.
Yeah.
So he went, and there was actually even a chance. They went to Djibouti, Africa, because they got him close to where
It was an aircraft carrier.
there was an aircraft carrier that was going to come, and they were going to fly them all out on F-15s.
It was F-18 Hornets. You know the Blue Angels jets?
That would have been
So
the dream of a lifetime for him, I know. One
the
of
whole
them.
thing started because the colonel, one of the colonels, loved the band.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do anything for us. He was going to invite us to, and he wasn't going to tell us. He was like, "Come out here, let's go. I'm going to take you guys somewhere." We were going to get on a boat, and we were going to take the boat out to a carrier, which was probably a mile out, somewhere where the water was deep enough. And they were going to take us up in these FA-18 Hornets, one at a time. And he had to tell us because they had to cancel it because they got a call to go do a mission.
Yeah. This was
So-
this was
This was during the,
after the Iraq War. So
yeah, I can't remember, but
Yeah.
anyway, they canceled it because they got
okay, 'cause Desert Storm was in like 92.
91 or 92.
91, 92. So I know people who were there.
So they just let us know. Says, well, I'm sorry guys, but we were going to do this for you, but they got a call. They had to go run some missions.
Right, but they ended up instead going to Djibouti, Africa, and he'd never even heard of it or seen it or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to tell him about the bus ride out there, from the pickup site to
the cheetah reserve.
To the cheetah reserve, where you guys got to go spend a
Well,
day.
it wasn't good. It smelled like death out there, and it was just the okay. So poverty plus 10.
Yeah.
It was horrible, and it was depressing.
Right, but so when Paul goes anywhere around the world, I always ask him, I don't want any sort of souvenir that you're buying from a marketplace that's made in China. Don't do that. Bring little tiny bags of sand or twigs or leaves or even newspapers from all around the country,
shells.
something like that. Yeah. That's what I want. And so he brought home all of these different sand samples, which almost got him in trouble. But anyway, so it was really interesting to see the difference between the sand from Afghanistan, which we called Afghanistan. It was tiny little pebbles, really. Mm-hmm. And you could see how when giant sandstorms hit, that would just come and eat your face alive, versus sand from, you went to Dubai, and I think you went to a beach in Dubai. And
yeah, it was if you remember the 3 diamond heads or the 3 heads.
Well, it used to be. It's much more
bigger
now.
But it was amazing.
Palm trees. But he brought home sand. But what I'm getting at is the sand from Djibouti, Africa, was red, and it was like baby powder. It was so old and it was incredible. It was just incredible, and the color is just gorgeous. And you need to talk about the cheetah reserve. And what they told you about the cheetahs.
Well, it was just, we walked through and the cheetahs behind fences and stuff. But the one thing they told us, if the cheetahs are purring, believe it or not, if the cheetahs are purring, you can put your hand through and pet them if you're very careful. But if their ears are back and they're not purring, you don't need to get close to them because they will.
Can you imagine? Wild cheetahs. And Paul has pictures of these gorgeous animals that are just beautiful. His adventures, he's done all that. And then that was a 28 day? 24 day.
28 days.
24 days. And that was difficult for me, y'all.
Yeah. But we had
3 teenagers.
We had a way where we could talk on the internet, though.
That was ridiculous. It was Skype. Everybody remember Skype? It sucked. So we got to talk maybe 1 or 2 times a day, maybe 1 time a day.
Yeah. 1
time every other day. And it was, everything would always freeze. And we had 3 teenagers at home. I was working full time. USO tours are unpaid. He got
per diems.
He got per diems that he was supposed to use while he was there. But what he did, being a responsible father and husband, paid all the bills before he left. And then my check was paying rent and insurance and all that stuff. And then I just had to keep the house afloat on literally $5 a week groceries. And I did it. I can't do it now. God, you can't buy anything for $5 now, but I did it with 3 teenagers at home. So anyway, so we, yes, I did say $5 a week, $5 a week, because this was 2008. And the ladies that I used to work with couldn't believe that I was doing it. I would go to Sprouts at the time, and this is back before Sprouts got full of themselves. And I could come out with 2 pretty good sized bags of stuff, and we had rice and we had pasta and all that stuff at home that I had banked up before he left, and so we had all kinds of stuff, and that was 3 kids, 3 meals a day plus me plus. But anyway, it was hard for him, but the stories that he brought back. Tell him the story about that one young soldier.
Oh, Sergeant Porter. Sergeant Porter.
He still remembers the name all these years later.
So we were in the mess hall, or whatever they call it over there, where you go eat and stuff. And we were sitting at a table, and this guy in a wheelchair shows up in a full body cast. He's in a wheelchair, and he said, "Mind if I sit with you guys?" And he did, and we were curious. We want to say, "Hey, what happened? Is everything okay?" And he told us the full story of how he got, and long story short, by the time he told us the story, our food trays, we pushed them away. We weren't even hungry anymore because of how powerful the story was. Turns out he was in a armored vehicle that actually got blown in half by an IED. He was with 6 other soldiers, and he was the only survivor. But he was barely making it. He was laying on the ground after the explosion, and he could barely see. His vision was not right. He was out of it. He saw a line. If you could just picture a line of guys walking towards you, okay? They were the insurgents?
Insurgents, yeah.
So he knew he was about to be killed. They're about to come finish me. They're going to do it. And out of the blue, 2 or 3 A-10 pilots, boom, carpet bomb, killed everybody. And I
got goosebumps to this day and tears every time he tells this story.
They sent a helicopter in after that to pick up the wounded. They didn't know that everybody had passed or not, but they picked up the wounded, including him. Yeah. And he's been in rehabilitation. So when he explained that whole story, we just couldn't eat anymore. We were just enthralled. In the
Y'all were
story.
there how long? A week?
We were there for 2 weeks. We had to go to.
Yeah.
Bahrain and somewhere else, and then we went back for a week later to find out that after we left after the second week, the front gate got bombed. So it was a very scary time.
Afghanistan, but what was the name? It was that
Bagram Air Base.
Bagram, yeah.
So anyway, when we went back the week later, we saw Sergeant Porter again. Right. Now he's walking with a stick, and he's doing much better. And this is after we sent prayer requests back to the States, and we had everybody praying for Sergeant Porter. And he basically came back, and his spirits were a lot higher. He was like, "Hey guys," and he was talking, and he was just, "I'm so excited, I'm getting better, and I don't know if the prayers that y'all told me y'all were going to tell people to pray, it's working. I feel really good." And long story short, found out later that he was doing much better. So,
yeah. So great story there. Great ending to that. So, I have to ask you because. To me, that's the most important part of that story was that, it was a USO tour, and it wasn't about the musicians. It was about the soldiers that they were playing for.
About the soldiers.
That's what the whole thing was for. That was the most important thing. Paul has lots of awards that he was given over there. They did coin ceremonies for this. They loved him so much they were doing coin ceremonies. They sent this beautiful plaque. Paul still has it. But
from the colonel.
Yes, from the colonel. And I have to ask you who you roomed with. Because it's always, we got to end on a funny note.
Okay.
Because that was a great story about Sergeant Porter.
Jeff Wallace, are you watching?
Yes. Okay, yes. Jeff Wallace, yes. But, yes, that was, okay, that story too was that's a great story. You have to tell parts of that. But, no, who you roomed with.
Oh, in Bagram Air Base.
In Bagram Air.
Okay.
Was it Bagram or was it?
It was Bagram.
Okay, and you have to tell the story about what you did to them.
Oh well, what I had to do.
No.
Are you talking about Justin?
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yes. And there was 2 or 3 of them, weren't there?
Yeah, there were.
So the very first American Idol, first year of American Idol was Kelly Clarkson and Justin. I can't remember his last name. And so when Paul and them, when they were there doing the tour, they had a bunch of American Idols that were kind of following in their footsteps where they were going. And so they had to share, what did they didn't call them bunks. They
were like bunk houses.
Yes, but they were like plastic pods.
Wood, like plywood.
Right, but anyway, they had to share with the American Idol guys.
A pig would blow on it, or a wolf would blow on it, it would fall, I guess.
Right, it's funny you say pig because that's pretty much how you describe Justin.
So... I doubt he's even watching. But
no. But
we're talking second runner-up, first or finale.
Yeah, but you know what? He was really good.
I really liked him. Good.
But
he lives like a pig. I tripped over his shoes. I tripped over his clothes. I think I almost bumped my head on his bunk because of his suitcase in the middle of the floor, open by chance. With his dingy, gnarly underwear hanging out everywhere. Anyway, hey, I'm happy to say that, okay?
I am laughing because that has been one of the biggest complaints living with this man for 37 years I'm constantly tripping over his stupid shoes, and he never puts his suitcase up when he comes home. It's probably still sitting there.
No, I put it up.
Oh my God. It's like I swear to you, if y'all have ever
tour,
seen, have you guys ever seen the episode of, what do they call it? 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 The episode of, what do they Everybody Loves Raymond, where he comes home and it's called, the name of the episode is called The Suitcase. I swear to God, that is us. It's, y'all. I love him, but holy crap. Watch that episode and then put our faces on Deborah and what's his name? Raymond. Yes. So to actually hear him say that on this is really funny because he got a taste of his own medicine. Yeah. So the Russian soldiers. With
soldiers.
Jeff.
Oh, okay. The Russian soldiers.
What?
Well, Kyrgyzstanian. Yeah, they were Russian.
Well, they were Russian soldiers, but was that in Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah.
That was when you first got there.
So we were at the airport, military airport.
Yeah.
Base, and Jeff.
Okay. Half of it is American side, half of it is Russian.
Yeah.
So you had to. They had to give all their passports and everything to one guy, so that when they went through, I guess whatever checkpoint that was, the guy had them all, and then would follow them through to the other. But Jeff had to go to
he was on the other side, and he
had to go to the men's room, didn't he?
Yeah.
So the men's room was on the Russian side.
But he didn't know it.
He didn't know it. So I think that's how the story goes.
So he was trying to get back to the American side.
He comes out and he's facing these giant Russian soldiers with guns. And he's trying to explain to them, I just need to go over there. That's where my group is. And they've got, and they asked for his passport.
I think so.
And he's like, I don't have one. It's over there.
It's over there.
And these Russian guys really did not care about anything. And they let him know by saying over and over in his face,
that is not my problem.
Every single time Jeff said anything, this is what the giant Russians
said. It is not my problem.
It is not my problem. You have to leave now. You have to get out. So Jeff's screaming across.
So one of our tour guides or managers.
Yeah, but Jeff is screaming because he's the guys are how y'all were like 50 yards away.
Not
or something?
even. No, we're not. We were literally on the next room corridor over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was a lot further.
And I was like, come on.
So Jeff, if you're watching, that's just not my problem.
This is not my problem. I think hopefully we said that story right. Okay.
Okay. It's been a long time.
Anyway, it was a good tour. It was good. I think another fun thing we had, two things. We got to fly up in the Blackhawks.
Yes.
Fly around the valley there. They said it was in the green zone. So
you know what? I forgot to ask you about the Justin thing. Was what you guys did to them. Remember, y'all were headed from there to Qatar?
I don't remember.
And okay, so they were told when they went to Qatar, you were not allowed to have any, because they're young. Yeah, any sort of porn on your computer, any sort of anything in your bag. You weren't allowed to have anything that even remotely even made them think that there might be something.
Yeah.
So what you guys did to Justin?
I don't know if someone got a hold of his laptop. We put a bunch of pictures of corn.
Corn.
So we called it. Yeah, he has a lot of corn on his laptop.
No, I thought y'all did something else.
I can't remember, but I
thought y'all did something
to Justin because they were following us.
Yes, and I thought y'all did something to him. We'll have to ask Jeff about that. He'll remember probably better than we do.
Yeah.
But I thought y'all did something that
it was crazy.
If they caught it, he was going to be in. He was going to be in trouble.
We didn't. I don't think we did anything bad.
They were.
But to make the story shorter, we did go up in the Blackhawks, and that was a lot of fun. And then later on, after the tour was done, we were going from Djibouti back to Bahrain to head back to DFW in Dallas. They said, if y'all want, why don't y'all go take a seat in the cockpit and fly the rest of the flight home in the cockpit of the C-130.
Is that where you got the goofy pictures?
Well, that was in the C-17.
Oh, okay.
Cargo.
Yeah.
You could play tennis in that thing widthwise. That's how big this plane is.
That's how big this plane is.
To this day, Jeff Wallace laughs at that picture.
The one with
the goggles.
Paul put a pair of goggles on, like this, and he was like, but he looked like he was
It was on the KNON post I did.
Oh yeah, there
days
you
ago.
go. So I knew I saw it recently. I didn't remember how in the world I saw it. If it was a memory or
that
what.
was a lot of fun, and the weirdest thing was when we left Bahrain. We left on a Monday at 8 a.m. We made it back to Dallas
Oh yeah.
the same day at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So, well, here we go again.
Yeah. Like Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, yeah.
It's funny is that he went over there in August of
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
And that was with a band that he had been with the year before, and he'd been touring all around Texas, and it was crazy. And
Yeah.
and they had broken up. The band had broken up, so they had put a lottery in because you had to go in and put your name in as a lottery as if you were going to be picked for this tour or whatever. So they had done it the year before and never been picked, so they didn't think anything about it. And when it came around, they had to get back together to do this. And so it was, he looked at me, he really didn't want to do it. And as a wife and as, I'm always his Adrian to his Rocky. I'm his Adrian to his Rocky. I had to say, this is something that I think you need to do. I think it's going to be hard, yes. It's going to be very hard. But I think you need to do this because I think this is going to be a life-changing, I don't even want to say adventure, experience.
Yeah.
A life-changing experience for you. And he said, yeah, but I don't want to leave you with the kids. And I was like, you need to go. And he said, oh, yeah, well, would you do it? And I was like, you're damn right I'd do it. In a heartbeat.
Yeah,
In a heartbeat.
yeah.
You want to stick me in your bag and throw me up and above the I'll go. And he kind of looked at me like that. He couldn't believe that I said that. And so he decided, yeah, he's going to go. And it was hard. It was very hard. But I think, honestly, that Sergeant Porter story he told earlier, it did change him. It did change his outlook on a lot of things. It did... it gave him a different perspective. We've always been huge military supporters. Always.
Absolutely. Thank you guys
always
for
will
all
be.
y'all do.
Absolutely. Always will be. And their families.
Yeah.
All military, we just have... I grew up in Corpus Christi next to the Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi, NAS Corpus Christi. My entire life was, Navy. My dad was in the Air Force when he was growing up. Paul has never served, but he's served 2 USO tours. He's gone on 2 USO tours. So the first one was in 88.
It was Southeast Pacific.
But it was 88 or...
88 or 89. I can't remember. It was what,
Yeah,
Tokyo?
it was right before we got married. We got married in June of 90. And
Was it Tokyo? And then what was the other place?
you went to the Philippines, you went to Guam, and you went to Japan.
Japan. Yeah, that was interesting.
That was 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
Y'all, I'm a warrior.
I got a funny story
widow.
about that one. Remember the general?
I'd forgotten about that. Yes.
So we're at
Okay, this is classic
I think
Paul,
this
y'all.
is Anderson. It was in Guam, right?
It was,
it was in Guam.
Yeah.
And
No.
Yeah, it was.
No. Philippines.
Well, I can't remember now, but I thought it was Guam. Anyway, long story short,
It was the Philippines because they were having the coup. Oh, no, it was
Guam.
in Guam. You're right. Okay, my bad.
So the little phone in the little hotel room, they're not really, I think they were rotary. No, they're push button, but they were labeled. One says base taxi, one says government taxi, and I don't know, I must have mixed them up or something.
Of course.
And I pushed the button and it says, hello, Sergeant Bubba, what can I help you? He says, well, I'm in my room and I'd like to get off the base. I heard there's some cool things going on out in the civil world area. And Guam is very Americanized. When you walk around the part off of the base, you think you're in the U.S. I mean, it's very Americanized. And
At that time.
yeah.
I don't know about now.
Anyway, the guy was asking me some abnormal questions, and all I was trying to do was get a cab.
So, what does
And-
Paul Piper do?
So I go, yeah, I just need to get a cab. I need to have me take me somewhere, to have somebody take me to the gate. He says, well, hold on a minute, sir. Who are you with? I'm with the blah blah band, and we're here doing a show for the USO. Okay, how long are you going to stay here? A week. Yeah. Hold on one second, sir. Sir, I need to know what your age is. What is your age? blah blah. I don't remember how old I was.
At that point, you were like 20.
And I started wondering, why is he
21?
asking me all these questions? Sir, I need to know what your business is here. And that's when I said, like I told you, I'm here doing a show for the USO. I need a cab to the base. Hold
From
on
the base, yeah.
From the base to the gate. All right, sir. Hold on a second. What? I don't know. Just give it to him. Are you sure, sir? Just give it to him. Okay, sir. All right, Miss Piper, just stand outside your room. We'll have somebody there in a minute. And I didn't think anything about it. It's like, okay, maybe they have rules of how they do stuff here. So I'm out there waiting, and I'm waiting on just a little car, just somebody. And what pulls up is a freaking 6-seat limousine with the American flag on the front hoods. It was a general staff car.
General staff car. This man orders a general staff car on Guam. He's a snot-nosed little 22-year-old drummer on a USO tour, and he's ordering these guys around. And they literally, it was like something out of a damn.
I think they were laughing.
It was like a Bill Murray movie.
I thought they were laughing.
It was like a Bill Murray movie. And so, what do? What does Paul do? He just gets in the car.
I said, okay.
Gets in the car, and they drive him to the gate.
Yeah.
And what do they tell you?
He says, have a nice day, sir. And I just got out and walked and did my thing. And the running joke was the guy that I went over there with, Eddie Harlequin. I don't even know what's going on with him or if he's even around.
Yeah.
He would always, now he called me the General.
The General.
So my nickname was the General for that whole tour.
Yes. Have you ever told the General that story?
Maybe.
You remember?
General Falls?
General Falls.
I don't
so
know
General
if I
Falls,
did.
great bass player that Paul plays with
Yeah.
from time to time sometimes.
A.K.A. Carl Bush.
Yes.
Facebook. Yep.
Great bass player. Oh, my God. He's good. And,
Anyway, that's my story for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd forgotten all about that one. So those are really... Paul, like I said, Paul's been all around the world. He's been all around the U.S., of course. I just want to ask I want to end this on a really funny note, because I think hopefully you've learned quite a bit about him that maybe you didn't know before. And again, I'm not going through all my questions. I'm just hitting the high points. But bar none, the funniest story you and I have ever had. Funniest, weirdest, hardest laugh we've ever had together. In 2018 and 2019, obviously before COVID, he had the honor to go to Red River, New Mexico and play the West Fest with Michael Martin.
Oh, okay.
So on our first trip back, we were coming down through New Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and we had come through Taos and that gorgeous drive.
Mm-hmm.
And we were coming through, and I think it was much further south than that. And we're driving down the middle of literally...
Are you talking about the stoplight? No. Oh, my gosh.
Literally.
I felt like we were in a...
Nowhere.
I felt
And
like we
there
were in a
was
Roadrunner.
nobody around. We were the only car. New Mexico is open land for as long as you can see. Desert. You could... I swear to God, if you stood there and listened, you'd hear... I swear.
And,
And
Roadrunner Coyote show,
and
yeah.
it's we were he's driving, right? You were driving, right? And all of a sudden he goes, "What the heck?" And we're driving down this literally nowhere, and there is a freaking portable stop sign, red light.
Yeah, red, like a stoplight.
Like a red light.
Like the Coyote put it there.
A red light. They had to power this thing. They had to put it out there. I really thought we were on some sort of televised show.
Candid camera.
There's a red light.
And what do?
He stops because he is Paul Piper and he is Mr. Follow the Rules. He is, no, there's some guy going to jump out and give us a ticket. And I said, Paul, okay, so we stopped.
There's nobody around.
This man sat there for like a solid minute waiting for the light to turn green. And I said, Paul, I can't say what I said, but
Oh my gosh.
I said, Paul, what are you doing? He's like, well, the light's red. We have to wait. I'm like, Paul.
Yeah, that was funny.
honestly was I was thinking that there was going to be some bandits or something, because
It's one of those where I was looking both ways.
he's
for no
looking
reason.
both ways.
But check this out. What's going to happen if I push go? Is a train going to run over me like the cartoons?
That's what it felt like. That is exactly what it felt like, and it was one of the craziest times we've ever had.
Yeah.
I don't think we had not even thought to pull out a camera and film it. We should have. I don't think anybody believes us. It was literally in the middle of nowhere. I don't even remember between what cities. I think I was almost asleep. And he stops the car and says, "What the heck?" And I look up and literally a portable, like it's in the middle of the road with like a solar panel on it. In the middle of nowhere, red light.
Anyway, maybe it helps somebody. I don't know.
I just think New Mexico wants to screw with people.
Yeah, I think someone did that as a prank. So
yeah, I think we got through a good lot of everything that I had asked. Paul and I have some ideas that we're working on for the future. Just different things that we want to start. The problem is, we're both so busy right now trying to find time for that. But it's going to highlight a lot of his further talents. Anything else that you think about Paul Piper, but you don't, will be revealed in that. He'll be able to showcase not only his talent, but also some other people's talents, and possibly even somebody else you might not know about. So we're working on a project. You're not.
Okay.
You're not. So we're working on a project, and then we're also working on a couple other things. So we just need to be able to find the time. So we'll find it. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. So Paul will be able to. By the way, what do y'all think about his podcast that he's had so far? I think they're pretty good. He's got some big names lined up for future podcasts. He had to put them on hold for a while. Yeah. This was one that we wanted to get done first, and then now he can move forward. What's going on?
Yeah, I do have some names. I'm not going to reveal those names right now. Do not say the names. But we are working on the scheduling of it.
Yeah.
Names that I know you guys will know. But we are working on scheduling right now. So I
really have liked all of the wide variety of people you've had in.
Yeah.
Of course, we had David as our first one, David Saborio, and then
we had Matt Thompson.
Yes, the incredible Matt Thompson. We had Pepe
from King Diamond, and Pepe is
Pepe is probably the best drummer I've ever seen. Technical drummer, he's amazing.
He lives out in Las Vegas, does a lot of stuff out there.
I've never seen. When did you first start following him?
Oh gosh, I came across Pepe.
Or was it during COVID?
It was before COVID, but I came across him.
I used to hear Paul listening to, and I would immediately go, "That's Pepe."
Yeah.
Pepe would play. He freaked me out because he would do.
Well, what got my attention is he had this practice pad, and he was doing all this one-handed stuff.
And the one-handed stuff is what got me. The sound of it,
I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah. And,
anyway, I was honored to get to know him a little bit, and he's been my guest on a couple of podcasts that I've done.
He has.
If you get a chance, go to my YouTube channel, Paul Piper Drums, and you'll see under the archives where you can find that podcast if you want to view it.
It's good. All of them are good.
And we had the one with Stephanie Naldoni.
Oh, Stephanie. That's our sister.
That was a really good one. Yeah, she's our sister.
We're actually planning on having her back. I'm not as much involved in the podcast, especially on this side. That's I'm kind of in the background, just as kind of planning with Paul a little bit. It's all him, but I kind of go, hey, what about this, or hey, what about that?
But if you notice, I'm in the guest side. She's in the hot seat.
This one time, well, this time, there might be another later. Stephanie Nadolny, she's an incredible voice actress, incredible singer, and an incredible person. We love her.
Absolutely. Don't forget running mate Dan Bradford.
Yes, absolutely. Dan
is a dear friend of ours.
We're actually going to have both of them, try to get both of them.
Yeah, I want to get both of them on a future podcast.
And bring David in on that as well. David and Stephanie does a lot of stuff on the weekends, Comic-Con type stuff. I'm not even going to pretend because I don't know the name of them.
She does the voiceovers for Kid Gohan, Goku, and adult Gohan and Goku for Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, but
So,
she does a lot of other stuff
does a
too.
lot of
I mean, she's an incredible voice actress.
Yeah.
That's her most famous, but she does a lot. And so David has played different anime con type things with her, and we've just all become good friends, all of us, you know. So
Yeah.
so we'll have him on there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment, share, like, follow follow him.
So this should be
I think I
airing-
have a YouTube for on the Drummer's Wife, but I haven't.
Yeah, if
Paul
you get a
used-
chance to go see,
It's been years since I put anything on there, but
go to the YouTube, punch in The Drummer's Wife. You should find Michelle's YouTube channel there.
find yours and follow these
Yeah.
the podcast, because that's going to
but-
be more recent.
If you're watching this through YouTube, be sure to click subscribe, like, and share.
There you go. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you liked the show. Hope you liked my Hacked and Hijacked for Paul's podcast 2023. Again, if anybody has any questions or anything that maybe I didn't address, or if you just always wanted to ask Paul, put them in the comments below. We'll see if we can both monitor that and get that answered, or ask us when we're on a gig sometime. Paul's out at the Forum every Wednesday night. That's the Forum in Richardson at Coit and Beltline, basically. Great jam, 9 to 1, and then he's at Nate's. These are just the ones that he's at consistently.
Every second Sunday. So I'll be there
Every
on the
second
11th.
Sunday at Nate's with Jackie Donlow, and usually, who's the bass player with you there usually?
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's other bass players, but yeah, David Johnson. He's an incredible bass player, and that's always a lot of fun. And then just keep watch out on Facebook for Paul. Should be putting out gig information. He's teaching 5 days a week. I've got him teaching 5 days a week right now at the school, and he also does private drum lessons. If you know anybody who wants private drum lesson, contact Paul. He can set that up. And anything else? What am I missing out on? Anything else? He'll be posting periodically whenever he's playing at different places. So keep an eye out for that. I do try to come out once in a while, but it's harder for me. So my time is fewer and far between. But I do every once in a while. So if you ever see me, please come say hi to me. If we've never met, introduce yourself, because I know names, but I don't know faces necessarily. So please come say hi. I love meeting new people, and I love meeting actually people that I know but I haven't met, if that makes any sense. So in this day and age, that's kind of a lot. So come say hi. I really enjoy it. I really love talking to people. So
yeah. So, and just if you notice, I did pop up the website on the bottom of the screen. So if you have any questions about drum lessons or online drum lessons, feel free to go to the site, get some information, and also full studio production. I do produce, I do write. And for any vocalist or any instrumentalist that want to come in here, we can do some cool stuff together. So feel free to go to the website listed below. And if you have any questions, my phone number's on there. My phone number is on the front page. Feel free to give me a call. We'll talk about it. So anything else?
nope.
All right, guys.
That's it. Thanks for letting me steal and slip in and ask you all these questions that you weren't expecting. I think I was pretty kind to him. What do you guys think? There are some others on here, but maybe we'll do a part 2 of this. How's that?
Part 2.
Yeah. I actually really want to do is, and I've talked to a couple of other musicians about this, having a musicians round table. I'm going to just let that cat out of the bag where we have that, but we're still working on the logistics of that. So I think it would be absolutely so much fun. So
I think it'd be great,
yeah.
personally.
So anyway, Paul's on Jackie Donlow's KNON show sometimes. He's like little bbit pieces, so you can find those on KNON Now, the app.
Go to spinatron.com.
Yeah. And then you can find all the podcasts.
Search window, just put KNON Now, and it should pop up, and then you'll see a calendar. You can pop that up. It's on
There you go.
Spinatron.
It's always fun. I think Jackie was born to do this. The music he picks is incredible. He's got more musical knowledge than I think anybody I've ever known. And he's a great guy. So he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Jackie. By the way, Jackie had a birthday this week, so
happy birthday, Jackie.
He's 59 now, I think. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
I
58?
believe 58 or 59. I think he said it was 59, but
I don't think so.
he
Do
told
the
me
math.
said he celebrated.
He said he was
58
born
years.
6/6/65.
Okay, so 58.
Today's 6/6/23. He's 58.
Okay.
So, but you know what? That's
I don't know.
age doesn't mean anything. Jackie's great.
Yep.
So love Jackie.
All right, and with that, keep an eye out for future podcasts. I will keep everybody updated, and I guess that's all we need to do for today. Happy Sunday to everybody, and we'll catch you on the next
Forgot about that. Absolutely. Bye.
All right, y'all take care and have a good day.